The first stage in design thinking is empathize. We need empathy to help us correctly frame the problems experienced by our users and consumers.
The first step that we're going to talk about in the design thinking process is empathize. And this is where we get to know the humans that we're designing for. And it sounds kind of simple, but it's not. Understanding the feelings, the needs, and the pain points of the people that we are working with or designing for is actually trickier, but critical to the design of robust and functional products. There are a couple of things that I want to start out with saying, even though the word is empathize, what we're really talking about here is the research and collection of qualitative and quantitative data. Quantitative data is how many times does someone click on something, or eye tracking movements. Those would be mathematical or quantitative data points. Qualitative data is incorporating a lot of the visual observational research methods. We're trying to identify the feelings and needs of the humans we're designing for, and we're trying to determine problems or pain points in the delivery of our products and services. Now, before we begin, we have to identify and focus on dropping our assumptions, judgments, and biases. If we're designing for a population that's 80 years old, then we have some unconscious or subconscious biases, judgments about what an 80-year-old person is capable of, what their physical parameters are. So we need to figure out what those are first so that we can put them aside, because we really need to go into this in a pure collection, research, data collection frame of mind. The main techniques that we want to use in this process are observation, engagement, and immersion. We need to spend time with the people using our products or potentially using our products if we're designing for them. There are a number of ways to do this, and some of the methods that we teach and that we incorporate in our coursework are basic research, what has been done before, what has been done in the past, what has worked, what hasn't. Interviews, actually coming up with a questionnaire and delivering it through a survey, or possibly shadowing. If it's service design, we may want to shadow the customers, clients, or people that are using our product so that we can see how they actually do use them or wish to use them. Documentary, it might be, creating a video of the process or product in use, and then sitting back and looking at what we can learn from that, or having people keep journals about what it is that they're using, or it could be a visual journal, it could be a written journal. Body language, also looking at, the person, if it's a website observation, are they hunched over? Are they exhausted? What is their body telling us? So there are lots of different ways to collect this qualitative data that's critical to the design of products that make people happy, that bring them joy, that create the feelings that we want them to have in the use of the things we create.
Now on to talking about problem framing. You may recall our famous quote from Albert Einstein. If I had an hour to solve a problem and my life depended on it, I would use the first 55 minutes determining the proper questions to ask. So if Einstein thinks taking 55 minutes out of an hour to problem frame is important, then it must be. Here's more about it. Problem framing is a central process that allows us to discover, understand, and define the problem at hand. It is a critical first step in engaging in design thinking. To problem frame is to emphasize the importance of solving the right problem so that we can create ideal solutions that meet our users' needs. Problem framing is not problem solving. Instead, it is the process by which we challenge preconceived assumptions and begin our search for different perspectives to a particular issue or problem. Why do we problem frame? Because it helps us to determine whether there is a problem to begin with, whether that problem is worth solving, and to help us determine whether or not we are addressing the correct problem. By problem framing, we can address the right user needs and minimize cost, resources, and unnecessary consumption of time. We can problem frame through several methods and techniques. The 5 W's method, who, what, where, when, and why, provides us with an excellent starting point to develop context to a particular problem. Context helps us to gain a stronger understanding of complex problems and helps us to create human-centered solutions. The 5 W's make us ask, who is facing the problem? What is the problem they are facing? Where does the problem happen? When does the problem arise? And why is the problem worth solving? There are many other methods we can use empathy to gain insights and observations, as shown by this diagram. These include the what, how, why method, journey mapping, a beginner's mindset, the 5 W's, how might we questions, conducting interviews, analyzing images and media. Let's now talk about empathy mapping. Empathy mapping is a collaborative visualization used to articulate what we know about a particular type of user. It externalizes knowledge about users to 1. Create a shared understanding of user needs, and 2. Aid us in our decision-making. Empathy mapping is advantageous because it enables us to capture deeper insights into the needs and perspectives of our users or target audience. It helps us to focus on the user's needs and their goals, or what they need to achieve. As the diagram shows, in empathy mapping, we want to capture how a user thinks and feels, along with what they say and do. A tool for empathy mapping is the what, how, why method. The what, how, why method is used when observing people. Our observations are broken down into 3 sections: what, how, why. In what, we write down the details of what is happening. In the second step, we ask how is the person doing what they are doing. In the third step, we aim is to interpret the scene. Why is a person expressing tiredness, for example? The strength of empathy mapping is that it lets us synthesize visual data from user research in an organized and easy-to-understand manner. Now let's consolidate with the key takeaways from Stage 1, Emphathise. To sum up, empathy is the ability to understand the feelings and experiences of others. Empathy helps us to actively reflect, control, and modify the ways in which we understand others. It encourages us to leave our assumptions and biases out of our thought process. Empathy should be used across all phases of design thinking. It drives understanding and compromise, and thereby helps us to shape new perspectives that in turn help build better solutions based on our users' needs and insights.